This video is going to be a film study look at Isaiah Likely's performance in the Ravens' Sunday Night Football win over the Jags. The question I posed in the title of this video is probably a poor one. It really should be how good is Isaiah Likely, or how good can he be? And then what we're seeing right now, is this going to be his typical usage and production? You guys know, if you watch my videos enough, I think this is a spread offense, not just because of the horizontal spread of the formations, but because of how often you get the football. Whether you're Isaiah Likely, Zay Flowers, Justice Hill, whoever, the ball is moved around between multiple targets. Is that by design? Does it happen organically? I do have some thoughts on that I think are more suited for another video. Perhaps I can get out Wednesday or Thursday. Ultimately, if you want to get paid and you're a football player, you have to produce something that's statistically provable. Only offensive linemen and fullbacks, on the offensive side at least, can get paid without some high-level statistical production. And Isaiah Likely is doing just that in the last 3 weeks. This is his second year getting extensive playing time, clearly because of the absence of Mark Andrews. He's got 14 catches in the last 3 weeks. I think that's important. What I think is even more noticeable is that it's only on 19 targets. So a real high catch percentage. He did have another catch called back for a hold to start the Rams game. I think first possession, or maybe it was second possession. He's got 2 touchdowns in this stretch while playing over 50 snaps a game. I'm going to mention that number at least one more time because I think it's important when you look at his production. He's being used into the boundary a lot as a receiver, and on at least one brilliant play that the Ravens run often away from nickel defenders. And I'll show you an example of that play in this video against the Rams and against the Jags. Very good after the catch. We knew that. I think we knew that last year in 2022, especially for his size. You saw glimpses of it in his draft film from Coastal Carolina. He can make people miss. He's also got that core and hip strength to be able to make defenders bounce off of him and get 3 or 4 more yards. He did show that potential in 2023, his rookie year, but not consistency in terms of production. And really, I think that was because of lack of opportunity. Those two things are linked. The presence or absence of Mark Andrews is the variable there. I want to talk about 3 games from 2022 before we get to the film. Forgive me for the long lead in, but I think this is an important point, not just for Isaiah Likely, but for a lot of our players, Rashad Bateman included. When Isaiah Likely played more than 50 snaps in a game in his rookie year, he contributed and had an impact statistically. So we're talking about week 8, the road game against the Bucs, a win. The following week on the road against the New Orleans Saints, also a win. And then week 18, the regular season finale, the loss to the Bengals in Cincinnati when Anthony Brown played quarterback. In those 3 games, again, the only 3 times he played 50 snaps in his rookie year, he had 15 catches in those 3 games, 8 of them against the Bengals, and 103 yards in that regular season game. I think he had 6 in the win against Tampa Bay and a touchdown. Those games were separated by almost 2 months, but I chose them as comparison points to basically say, I think that Isaiah Likely can do this if he's given opportunity, if he's given consistent snaps, if he's on the field a lot in Todd Monken's offense. He's got big playability, he's got versatility, and he will contribute. We'll start off the film study by looking at probably the most important play in a lot of people's eyes is his long touchdown catch against the Rams. It's to the field. I think it is a tactical or schematic adjustment by Todd Monken. He's going to go in motion. It's the 54-yard touchdown catch early in the game that catches the Rams by surprise. Isaiah Likely has receiver ability as a tight end. Could he be a starting X in the NFL? That's not the point. The point is he can step out there and be versatile enough when he lines up outside, or in this case where he motions outside, to threaten the defense in a place, in a location that tight ends normally don't threaten. Last play from the Rams game, then we'll get to the Jags. This is this brutal chip on a 2nd and 10, I think 3rd quarter, but it might be 4th, where he decleats a defensive end and then releases out into the flats, gets 11 yards, lined up to the field here, by the way, in 11 personnel. But you can see he's taking the D end down to the ground, and his core strength, his hip strength, he's able to stay on his tracks. It didn't influence his balance at all, such that he's able to get out to the flats quickly enough. Lamar finds him for 11 yards on a 2nd and 10. We'll get to the Jags film here. It's going to be first possession, And I missed this play, to be honest with you. My stream was a little bit behind, or maybe I didn't hit refresh enough or live time. But in any case, Likely is down here. It's a 2nd and 8, backed up inside our own 15. And he's great at this, I think. He's got incredible instincts when Lamar moves around in the pocket, extends the play, whatever you want to call it. Isaiah Likely has the ability to adjust. He does it quickly. He finds open space consistently. You'll see another example of it, obviously, the 26-yard catch that he had at the end of the third quarter in this same game. When you play with Lamar Jackson, you've got to be able to adjust because you know he's going to extend plays, and he did so. I forget where I saw the stat that he had over 3.8 seconds, maybe even more, to throw. That wasn't because of offensive line protection. That was because of his ability to move around and extend the play. Same possession, incomplete pass. Again, speaking to Lamar's movability, agility to keep things alive. Ends up being an incomplete pass. Likely makes himself available to low throw. So inconsequential, but point is, Likely is a guy who understands space and understands how to adjust and adapt in the middle of the play. Late second quarter now. I think we are scoreless offensively in terms of touchdowns. We're only up 3-0, and he's lined up to the boundary, which is the normal place in Todd Monken's offense. And you get this chip screen that we ran the week before against the Rams on the other side of the field. I'll actually show you the play. This is perfect for Isaiah Likely. Be able to chip someone, and what that does is helps one or two of the offensive linemen be able to release further. They're almost exchanging jobs. I think it takes advantage of the defenses who are reading run pass, and in this case they read pass, which is true, and then it ends up being a screen so the offensive lineman can release out. That's the concept behind a screen. This is 1 week earlier. Same concept. He's chipping. In this case, it's the DN lined up out wide. Khalil Mack doesn't really decleat him as much. He's lined up at receiver. It's a little bit wider alignment. Goes for 18 yards, I think, on a 2nd and 20 after a hold on Gus, which negated a reception by Isaiah Likely. He's good after the catch. Very strong at chipping people. I think he fits in perfectly in Todd Monken's offense. I didn't know that 3 months ago. I probably didn't even know that 2 months ago. So back to week 15 after the screen. This is going to be 12 personnel ace gun. So you got Kolar and Likely on the field. They'll be on the field for the next 2 plays and then another play later on in the game. I love this alignment. I do. It gets the other team's base defense on the field, meaning gets their base 3-4 on the field. So you end up with 4 DBs. Here's a strong safety rolled up to the field. So we can kind of control personnel against some of those teams who have a really high-level nickel defender who spends all the time on the field. I wonder about Todd Monken's script. I wonder about his play call sheet. How often he's going to have more plays called with 12 personnel, being as Charlie Kolar looks really smooth on this play. He's wide open, don't get me wrong. And then Isaiah Likely had 5 catches on 6 targets as well. Very next play, 2 plays later, 2nd and goal from the 16. Likely and Kolar on again, 12 personnel. In between the last play and the one I just showed you was the penalty on John Simpson. I love this one because we've got the motion to Zay to the tight end side, to the running back side. So you're really putting these guys here to this side, even the safety as well, in a lot of conflict. This could very easily be Likely, Gus leading out, and then Zay getting the ball on the sweep. In fact, I'd like to see that, even though it's into the boundary. We have run it. I can think of one play against the Bengals. We didn't get many yards on it. Additionally, man, look at the release that we've got. Kolar up the seam, very similar to the release on the other side of the field 2 plays ago, and then Likely widening his route up to the bottom of the numbers. Kolar bringing his in gradually to the hash. So you've got this width here that we're putting the safety and the corner in conflict. Once that corner's got outside leverage and the safety is over top of Kolar, it's over. Lamar's releasing it early. I actually think Lamar took a little bit off of this ball. I think at first when I saw this thrown, I thought he zipped it in there with 100% speed and force. I think he took a little bit off here to drop it in front of the safety so Likely could catch it before he got hit by number 42. Hopefully I said that in a way that makes sense. Here's an end zone angle. I haven't seen Likely with a drop other than, I believe there was one in the Week 18 regular season game against the Bengals that I do recall. And maybe this year you're talking about one drop in the flats on a play where he probably could have got 6 or 8 or 10 more yards after the snap or after the catch. Generally, man, he's been pretty good. He's even been used as a blocker some at the point of attack this year. This is now fast forwarding third quarter, 12 personnel, ace gun again, Kolar, Likely, both on the field together. Same formation as the one where Kolar had to catch up the left seam, and Lamar's extended the play, found space for himself back here. He's going to get decked by number 91, and you can see Likely. Likely is finding the space. Look, NFL quarterbacks are all good, all of them, but there's a very select few who could create this kind of chaos by breaking the tackle of number 91, who's a huge defensive end, D-tackle hybrid, whatever they classify him as, and then who could get the football there from the 45 down to about the 6-yard line at an angle such that Likely is able to go up and catch it. Kind of lost track of the football. Here's the arc of it. There's the football right there on my mouse. So Lamar, again, put the correct amount of touch on this, combined with zip, force, whatever you want to call it, to get it down there Likely. It's a brilliant catch, man. We got a tight end. I guess people are calling him a backup tight end. I don't think he is. I think he's a starting caliber tight end in the NFL right now. If Mark Andrews was here, is he going to get 50-plus snaps a game? No. He's got 50-plus snaps a game in the last 3 weeks, and we've got 14 catches and 2 touchdowns on 19 targets. I think he can do this. I think he can do this often. Is he always going to have 3-week stretches where he gets basically 5 catches a game and asks for more, like he is right there? Well, no, I don't. We've just got so many weapons. Used as a blocker, not at the point of attack here. This is Jumbo 23, so Ricard and Gus is the 2 in 23, Kolar, Likely, and then Cleveland is the eligible tight end, so 23, 2 running backs, 3 tight ends. Surprise, surprise, power play, 50 fits it wrong. Gus reads it because you got Linderbaum on the seal, who's fell down to his knees. Huge hole here. Makes it easy. Isaiah Likely used on the backside as a blocker. I do want to talk about one play in particular that the Ravens are using often. It's not always to the boundary. In this case, it is. This is fourth quarter, early fourth quarter. I think it's our 9th possession. It might be our 8th. It's a 2nd and 5, excuse me. We actually convert on the ensuing 3rd and 1. Could be zone read. Could be an RPO. Could be anything. In this case, Likely is running out into the flats. Kind of a giveaway that this is potentially a pass to Likely. We know he catches it. But Lamar could keep it as well. You've got the D end here. Appears to me to be a give read to the running back. Nonetheless, Lamar keeps it. You do have Linderbaum climbing up here. So I do think there is a run-pass element to this play. I think it's kind of obvious. Ends up being 4 yards. Collinsworth commented on this about Likely's ability to have someone hanging onto his leg. He's a unique player. Same play, end zone angle, and then I'll show you one of these from the Rams game where Lamar keeps it. But you get the same action. Running back, tight end, same side. Running back cross and face. And in this case, Likely releasing out into the flats or outside of the D end, really isolating the read man Trayvon Walker, who, again, if we're actually reading this, this is a give. But you look at Lamar's helmet. I have suspected since about 2020, 2021, that there was plays where he's reading the second-level defenders. And I think that's what we may have here, which is why some people would call this a misread if he's reading the D end. There's times where he's not reading the D end, where he's reading a second or third level defender. I might be wrong there. I'm willing to admit that there's a possibility I'm wrong. To me, his helmet, normally when he's reading the defensive end, his helmet is going to be a little further out in this direction, not looking straight at the D end. I feel like because his helmet is canted or angled more in this direction, so his field of view would be something like that, I am open to the possibility that he's reading something else, and that's why this doesn't end up being a give read. Feel free to let me know if you think I'm wrong in the comment section. Now, later on in the game, I misspoke a minute ago and said it was going to be from the Rams game. Later on in the fourth quarter, actually, I'm sorry, this is 4th possession. You got running back, tight end, same side, different defensive ends, not Trayvon Walker here. Likely isn't going to release out into the flats. He's going to release up to the second level to be used as a blocker if and when Lamar keeps it. Lamar's clearly reading 91 here. You can see the mesh kind of elongated, keeps it out the front side, 7 yards. Rayshon Jenkins involved in a tackle. I don't think Likely did a great job of fronting him up there, to be honest with you, and staying with him. You'd like to see him get a little bit more vertical push, make Rayshon Jenkins choose a side. But I understand you're trying to be patient if you're Isaiah Likely. You're not trying to hit a home run or even a triple with this block. You're really just trying to hit a single. And in terms of yards gained on that play, 7 yards, I would say goes down as a single, maybe a double. Same play, end zone angle. Again, this is 4th possession. So we're rewinding back. Lamar clearly reading this defensive end 91 who steps down with the running back. He keeps it. So there's times, and I've even seen people in the comment section say, hey, Lamar reads these things wrong often. We don't know what he's reading sometimes. I think you can tell by the angle of his helmet on the end zone angle, particularly on this play. In the pistol option, Lamar doesn't look directly at the read man, the defensive end, all the time. Sometimes he looks at a canted angle. Hopefully I said that in a way that makes sense. But nonetheless, look, Isaiah Likely, man, when he gets 50 snaps a game, I think he can give us 4 or 5, maybe even 6 catches a game. Does it matter to you who gets the catches? If you want the Ravens to win, I don't think it does. And it doesn't matter to me either. This is a hurry-up situation. This is after the 4-yard completion that I showed you on the RPO read, whatever you want to call it, where I suspect Lamar may have been reading someone at the second level. So it's another hurry-up where we're moving up to the line quickly to snap the football on a 3rd and 1. And that's why Nelson Aguilar is in on a 3rd and 1, lined up in a 4-point stance to potentially cut or block a defensive end. Look, you guys let me know what you think of the video. If you're as impressed with Isaiah Likely's performance recently as I am, I think he's giving us consistent production and more consistent availability, meaning they're putting him on the field, giving him opportunity, and then he's making himself available on some of the routes that aren't schemed up, like the RPOs into the flats and stuff like that, or screens. Appreciate you guys' time, man. Let me know what you think of Likely as a second-year tight end, a guy who we drafted, I think, in the 4th round. Drafted him after Kolar, but the big playability, which was one of the things talked about in the pre-draft process, is showing up on film multiple times, twice against the Jags, once against the Rams. And in some cases, I think he can be used as the reason or the justification as to why other guys didn't get as many targets. OBJ, Zay Flowers only had combined for 2 catches on a night when Isaiah Likely was our leading receiver. Appreciate you guys' time. Let me know what you think of the video in the comment section. If you think other Ravens fans would appreciate this film study look at Isaiah Likely in Week 15, then please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach.